Hot937, hot937.com. Buck and Reg in the morning, man. Starting off this week, short week too. We had holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Make sure it's crazy. We're coming with guests. I told my man to come in Monday, and I forgot that we had Monday off. So I said, come back Tuesday.
You didn't come up here, did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
We got Alphonso McGriff in here, man. He got something called When Young People Speak, 100 questions for ages 13 to 30, man. This intriguing book available in print on Amazon.com ignites insightful conversations between adults and young individuals, paving the way for deeper understanding and respect. Good morning, Alphonso. How you doing?
Good morning. I have no complaints, as usual.
Everything is good?
Everything is good.
I've known you for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't know this, but Reg told me that you used to do parties. You threw parties, and the parties would sell out every time you do like the fashion shows and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about it. Tell me about that.
Yeah, those were the most famous oldies parties. We used to call them 60s soul shops.
That's what they were called?
Yeah, 60s soul shops.
And you created that?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, that was about a 15, 16-year run, 2 to 3 times a year.
Wow, Reg, yeah. Yes, I remember.
I've known him forever. I've known him forever because, you do hair. So he did all the bad chicks here. So, everybody knew who Alphonso McGriff was, man.
Alphonso, you got something going on right now. You're talking to the kids, man. You've been putting this book together for a while right now. Tell me about this book and what made you decide to do this.
Well, there's a lot of people in the greater Hartford area who are doing work with young people, and I always worked with young people off and on. And so it's people like Abdul Rahman I. Muhammad.
That's my guy.
Ice Cream for a Dream. And Andrew Woods, Calvin Lovejoy, and Demetrius and his wife, great business partners. And a young brother named Jordan Green. All of these people, it's so many more, but it's just a lot of people that have been out here working with young people. And I wanted to come up with something, another program and another option for young people to participate in. And that's why we came up with When Young People Speak, 100 questions, ages 13 to 30. And so these questions allow the younger people to, like, for instance, older folks who don't know how to have conversations with younger people, they sit and they ask them, well, how was your day at school, or things like that. I like to offer them more questions to connect with. And we start by saying, what are your thoughts with a lot of the questions? Because a lot of young people aren't asked what their thoughts are. They're told what to think and told what to do. So what we do with this small book is just close the gap as it relates to communication and understanding each other. I was working with some young people. I'm a school security officer in Hartford Public Schools. And a young 6th grader called me over to the table during lunchtime. And he said, "Mister, can we ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." And he said, "If you could have one superpower, what would it be?" And I was really amazed. He kind of freaked me out and didn't know it, because that was one of the questions in this little book. And it was almost like the universe is telling me, man, you're on the right track. And so I said, well, if I had one superpower, it would be to make everybody happy. And he said, wow, that's a good one. So I said, well, what would you do? And he said, I would want to be invisible. So I could
that would be one, invisible.
Move how I want to move and nobody will bother me. I asked another, and these are 6th graders. I said, okay, so what would you be in? She said, I want to be able to teleport and just go from place to place, anytime I want. And another young lady said she wanted to be able to fly. And so I took that question because that gave me an opening to be able to ask questions. It gave me a great idea. I said, during lunchtime, I can ask these young people questions. So I went to the seniors and I asked them the question, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? And the most popular answers were invisible, teleport, and fly. Again, even with the older. So this one young lady, I said, well, why do you want to be invisible? And she said, because I want to know what my friends really think about me. I want to be able to sit among them and listen to them when they're talking about me and see if they're really my friends.
Yeah. That could be a gift and a curse.
And I was like, I mean, but there's so many things you can do with being invisible. She said, well, that's what I want to do.
You get honesty out of that.
And so, and then I'm listening, and then another guy said, I want to be able to move things with my mind, telekinesis. I'm like, okay. So I saw this one guy sitting there, he's just rubbing his chin, smiling, and I'm like, all right, I want to know what's on your mind, because I saw the wood burning. I said, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? And this guy looked at me and said, I would want to be able to touch everybody that has a superpower and get their superpowers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
man. And and I wonder if his parents know he thinks like this, and it was just very interesting. Yes. So I called this young lady up and I said, hey, I want to introduce you. I want your son to be my first interview, because this program is actually set up for me to interview them on my YouTube channel. They go through the questions and then they pick 7 to 10 questions. Let me know which questions they want to be interviewed on, and then I bring them on and we talk about it. So I went to this young lady's house and I explained to her, I want your son. The reason why I want him to do it, because his personality and this, he's about 11 or 12.
right.
And she calls him down. She says, my son, I have no problem with him answering all of these questions. So I said, okay, cool. That's why I wanted your son to be the guy, the first interview. So she calls him down and she says, and one of the questions are, have you ever intentionally done something mean to a person? And so she asked him, have you ever intentionally done something mean to a person? Now they're tight. And he said, yeah. And she said, when? So she's like, when?
Yeah, no.
And he said, I'm just making up a name. He said, at Sam's birthday party. And she was like, at Sam's birthday party? When was this? He said, about 2 years ago. She said, what do you do? What did you do? He said, I punched him in the stomach. Right? So she's sitting here looking like shocked. Why did you punch him in the stomach? Because he's annoying. Well, did you ever tell me? Yeah, I told you about twice, but you didn't listen. And I was like, I wish I had a videotape, because this is the whole purpose of what these questions are about.
That's good.
And so it was real cool. And the first interview will be on January 27th with her son.
All right, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Good job, man. Bet you got a question?
Now, this book, you said is dedicated to ages 30 and under. Is there a reason that you picked
13 to 30?
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons is because people always say, what is the demographic? And you can't say everybody. So you got to give them a demographic. The other thing is, I feel like that age group is the group right now that's still somewhat open-minded. Their mind is still fresh. They could still receive stuff. Whereas a lot of our older generation pretty much locked into what they believe and think, and that's pretty much it. But I also picked that age group because right today, that age group continues to be told what to think and what to do. And
Even
I think
at 30?
What do you mean even at 30? At 60?
Well, yeah, you always being told what to do.
People are still operating based on how they've been told to think and what they've been told to do.
From the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I'm saying that one of the reasons why we have so many challenges out here is because there's a communication breakdown between the younger generation and the older generation. I say 40 and older. There's a communication breakdown. And younger people now aren't engaging in conversations with groups outside of their own peers,
Why do you think that is? I have my thoughts on why. I think it's the younger kids, like, they don't play outside like they used to. Everybody plays video games and everything. Before, back in the day, our parents would tell us, go outside and play. Everybody telling their kids that, so everybody's outside,
Right.
and you have to play with other people. Now you don't. You really just have to play with whoever you want to. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
not as much kid interaction with strangers, basically.
Well, so you're speaking in reference to young people interacting with each other.
Yeah.
But for me, I think if there's an opportunity, they'll always do it, just like they do it in school or any other place where they are. It'll happen. My biggest focus is young people interacting with adults, and adults learning or finding out what's actually on their mind, as opposed to telling them what should be on their mind, telling them what they should think, and telling them what to do constantly. So it's great to find out. Listen, but there are questions in there also that ask, have you ever felt like hurting yourself? Have you ever hurt anyone, felt like you wanted to hurt anyone else? Has anyone ever abused you or touched you in a way that made you feel uncomfortable? And so there's a variety of questions relating to a variety of real life situations.
Alphonso, how can someone get the book? Where can they get the book at? Alphonso McGriff, thanks for coming in. People want to get a copy of this.
The book, you can get it on Amazon. On Amazon, When Young People Speak, you type in When Young People Speak and type my name in, Alphonso McGriff III, Alphonso McGriff III.
If anyone wants to get in touch with you, if they have questions, if they just want to be involved or help you or be involved,
Right.
is there a website or is there a phone number or email?
There's an email, Alphonso, Alphonso .mcgriff Roman numeral number 3 @gmail.com.
Yeah, thank you for coming in, man. Great job, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Sign 937.